Hi folks, I'm going to talk to you very quickly about how I'm teaching today at my youth group. We're looking at Mark, is it Mark 8 or Mark 9? I really should know this. I think it's Mark 9, right? It's Mark 9. The Transfiguration story. And this is when Jesus goes up the hill with Peter, James and John and is transformed. He begins to glow, not like glory shining down at him, but out from him. He's like, his whole body changes, and then Moses and Elijah appears. And Peter's like, oh, let's put up some tents. And the voice from heaven says, this is my son, listen to him. And they go down the mountain. Now, usually when I hear this taught, people only respond to one of two directions that this verse should bring us in. It's right in the middle of Mark for a reason. There are two directions involved with this passage. The first direction is looking back. Jesus is the fulfillment of. And I'll talk about that today. I'll talk about how Moses is the sort of archetypal voice of the law, the voice of the Torah, God's written word given to his people. And then how Elijah is the archetypal prophet, how God speaks directly to a person to deliver a message again to God's people. And in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew world, if you wanted to hear from God, those are the two ways you really heard from God, either through the law or the prophets. And now Jesus has fulfilled those. If you want to hear from God, you need to listen to Jesus. And we'll definitely focus on that today. That's usually where the talk ends. That's not where the talk should end. The second directionality is going forwards. In the book of Mark, the narrative suddenly speeds up here. The first 8 chapters of Mark take 3 years. The last 8 chapters of Mark take almost a week. And so everything has sped up. And in the first 8 chapters of Mark, you gather all the things about who Jesus is. The second 8 chapters of Mark shoot all those things towards the cross. And so it's really important for us that we, in this moment of transition, this moment of change, we point to both directions. We pointed back, yes, Jesus is the fulfillment of, but he's not just the fulfillment of. This is when Jesus now goes down the mountain, down for his mission, down to accomplish that which the Father had sent him to do. That is incredibly important. And so when Elijah and Moses appear, and Peter, James and John are there looking on in this incredible moment, this pivotal point of history, wouldn't you have loved to have been there? What would you have said in that moment where these legends appear and Jesus is glowing and he's having a talk with people who aren't around anymore and they represent so much about your life and religion? What would you do? What would you say? What does Peter say? Peter goes, well, this is nice. This is great. This is so awkward. I know what we'll do. Let's put up some tents. One for you, Moses, one for you, Elijah, one for you, Jesus. Don't worry about us, but we'll sleep outside and we'll share a tent. And we'll just stay here. Now, I think what Peter's saying is basically, let's start a home group. We've got a great vicar, we've got a Bible teacher, we've got Jesus, we've got the best disciples, obviously. Let's just stay here. This is nice. Let's put up a tent, order some pizza, and just stay here. That's when God says, this is my son, listen to him. Because you're not listening to him. You're thinking, let's stay here, and Jesus is all about, let's go. Jesus is going down the mountain. Are you going with him? Stay here if you want, but Jesus has left the building. Jesus going down the mountain. A church, a people that stay still, is no longer a church. What would it mean to you to follow him down that mountain? To follow him, to take up your cross and follow him to Golgotha. What would it mean for you? And that's roughly what I'm doing today. We look back, Jesus is the fulfillment of, and we look forward, what does it mean to follow him down the hill today? Thanks, folks. Bye.